Recent data shows that the top 5 most popular rental suburbs in Melbourne amongst migrants are Melbourne CBD, Southbank, Carlton, South Yarra and St Kilda. So today we're going to explore these suburbs and find out what makes them so popular. Are they really that good? And is it actually worth moving here when there are cheaper alternatives? Let's find out. Today we're going to explore some of the most popular rental suburbs in Melbourne, and we're going to do it in style. Our friends from Mirth sent us these amazing e-scooters to try out and to help us get around the city whilst we make this video. I'm actually super excited to try this out because, as you know, I'm not a big fan of driving and I'm always looking for more sustainable transportation options to get around the city. This is the Mirth S and this is the Mirth City. This is actually their new model and we're going to give it a try and see how it goes. If you want to know more about Mirth e-scooters, there is a link in the video description, and if you use this code you'll get 10% off. Okay, the first suburb in our list is Melbourne CBD. So let's go and let's start exploring. Our first suburb is Melbourne CBD. This area is considered the vibrant and bustling heart of Melbourne, Victoria. This is because the CBD is the city's main commercial, cultural and entertainment hub, attracting locals and tourists alike with its unique blend of modernity and historical charm. The CBD is situated on the northern bank of the Yarra River and is characterized by a mix of contemporary skyscrapers, beautiful Victorian-era architecture and open spaces such as the Royal Botanic Gardens. But living so close to the city comes with a price. The median rental price for houses in Melbourne CBD is currently at 650 Australian dollars per week, and for units and apartments is around 590 Australian dollars per week. But what makes this area so popular amongst overseas renters? Well, I did a bit of research and it seems that people choose to live in the CBD mainly because of convenience. You have access to a range of shops, entertainment venues, universities, healthcare facilities, and other essential services. For example, there is easy access to Flinders Street train station and a wide range of public transport options, including free trams around the city. Another reason why some people choose to live here is the proximity to work. Most of these buildings are actually located in the CBD itself. So if you live in the area, you can reduce your commuting times significantly. You can either walk to work, you can ride your bicycle, or use e-scooters to move around the city. Melbourne CBD also houses some of the most important museums and art galleries in Victoria, including the NGV, the Art Centre Melbourne, and ACME. So if you're a young professional, student, backpacker, or even visitor looking to live in an area close to cultural activities, Melbourne CBD could be a great option for you. Melbourne CBD offers a wide range of shopping activities, which is a huge appeal for many people living in this area. From world-class shopping centres like Bourke Street Mall to luxury boutiques on the famous Collins Street. For example, here we have Louis Vuitton, if you're into that. Or even beautiful royal arcades where you can shop different artisan products and crafts. Highly recommend coming here if you have the chance to visit Melbourne. Apart from the shopping experience, many people choose to live in the Melbourne CBD area because of its easy access to the most renowned restaurants, hotels, bars, cafes, hidden laneways, and markets. And of course, having easy access to all these amenities and facilities makes the experience of living in the CBD much more lively, especially if you're a young professional or a student looking for that kind of lifestyle. At the same time, if you work in hospitality, living in the CBD could also be a great option for you. So you have easy access to work and you can reduce your commute times. For example, here we are on Swanston Street, and as you can see, there are plenty of restaurants featuring international cuisines, Vietnamese food, Indian food, and here we are on Little Bourke Street, which is full of shops, people walking down the street, grabbing lunch, and enjoying the amazing food of Melbourne. Living in the CBD is a great choice as well because you have easy access to different kinds of gyms, university clubs. As you can see here along the Yarra River, there is the Melbourne University Rowing Club, and this is a very popular sport here in Melbourne, something that you can get into. Or if you simply enjoy being out in nature, you can come here to the Yarra River. There are free barbecues, so you can meet up with your friends and enjoy a day out. Another popular meeting spot right here in the CBD is Federation Square. As you can see, it's plenty of people just sitting, chilling, perhaps waiting for a friend. So again, if you're a student or young professional and you like to have easy access to entertainment, cultural, study and recreational activities, the CBD could be an amazing choice for you, and that's why so many people choose to live in this area. And speaking of recreation and entertainment, many students, young professionals, and even backpackers choose to live in the CBD area because of the easy access to nightlife, including bars, clubs, the theatre, and live music venues. But not everything is about partying. Melbourne CBD actually houses the State Library of Victoria. So if you're a student and you need to do your assessments and need a bit of quiet time, the State Library of Victoria can actually become your study spot. I highly recommend doing so. I've done it whilst I was completing my master's degree. As you can see, there's also people sitting on the grass, enjoying the sunshine in front of the library. So it's a beautiful and super lively space to be. And of course, the State Library of Victoria is in close proximity to major universities such as RMIT, Melbourne Uni, Victoria University, and TAFE institutes. So it's definitely a really good place to go if you need some quiet and focused time. So is it actually worth living here? I personally love Melbourne CBD, and every time I come here, I'm amazed and reminded of the beauty of Melbourne. Beautiful architecture, skyscrapers, amazing and super cheap eateries, good public transport connection, and a very, very walkable city. Having said that, personally, I don't think I could live in this area, especially because I think it's just too centric and a bit too noisy even for me. But if you're a student, or if you work around the area, or even if you're just visiting Melbourne for a short time, the CBD can be an extremely convenient option for you. Okay, now let's go and explore the next suburb, Southbank. Southbank is an inner city suburb located just south of Melbourne CBD. This area is renowned for its modern high-rise residential buildings, cultural attractions, and scenic riverfront views. And indeed, the Yarra River plays a central role in the appeal of Southbank. Residents can enjoy beautiful views and easy access to walking, jogging, or cycling paths along the river bank. Because of its proximity to the CBD, Southbank is also home to many cultural attractions, entertainment, and dining activities, with the Crown Entertainment Complex being a major draw for its casino, restaurants, and shopping options. But living here doesn't come cheap. Living in a house in Southbank will cost you on average $561 per week, and for an apartment or unit, you can expect to pay around $600 per week. Having said that, houses in Southbank are basically non-existent, so if you decide to live in this area, you'll most likely be living in an apartment. So be ready to live in a high-rise building or to share a flat with other housemates. A positive thing though is that most buildings here in Southbank usually have amenities such as pools, gyms, so perhaps if you have access to all these facilities, then you don't have to pay, for example, for a gym membership. And again, of course, because of its proximity to the CBD, you're going to have very easy access to cheap eateries. Here, for example, we stop for a quick lunch at this Korean restaurant, relatively cheap and super, super yummy. Okay, let's keep exploring this beautiful area. Another reason why so many people choose to live in Southbank is because of its easy access to public transportation and office buildings. And if you don't want to take public transport as well, you can ride your e-scooter, as we're doing here. We are going along the footpath, And even though it's a bit busy because it's a weekend, it does make things much faster. By the way, these e-scooters are doing amazingly well, especially the Mirth City. The battery seems to be lasting really well and it hasn't dropped much at all. So, what's your opinion so far? Do you think it's worth living here? I think one of the drawbacks is that rental prices are clearly on the higher side. But at the same time, if you're studying or working in the city, you may be able to save a lot of money on public transport. So that kind of compensates for those high rental costs. And living in Southbank is not as hectic as living right in the middle of the city. So it might hit that sweet spot for you. Now let me show you Carlton. Carlton is a charming and culturally rich suburb situated just north of Melbourne CBD. Known for its distinct character and historical significance, Carlton is a favourite amongst locals and visitors alike. The area has a unique blend of old and modern buildings, making it a popular place to live. But how much does it cost to live in this area? The median rental price of a house in Carlton is around 750 Australian dollars per week, whereas for units and apartments, you can expect to pay around 490 per week. Remember, however, that these prices will vary according to how many bedrooms the property has and how big or small it is. If you're a student, for example, renting a studio apartment may cost you less than 400 per week. Having said that, considering that Carlton is an area full of houses, what many students and backpackers also do is to rent these houses for shared accommodation. So if you really want to live in the area but you're on a budget, sharing a house with others is usually a good alternative, and what many people living in this area usually do. Otherwise, as I said, you can go to student accommodation. The area is also full of studio apartments for students. Now, what makes Carlton so popular? Well, as I said before, one of the biggest appeals of Carlton is the fact that it's a super lively suburb with an amazing mix of old Victorian era architecture and modern buildings, which makes this neighborhood a super pleasant place to be and to walk around and indeed to live in. Carlton's location is also very convenient, since it's just north of the CBD, making it ideal for those who want a city lifestyle but prefer a quieter and more residential environment. And indeed, even though Carlton is close to the city, it still offers residents ample green spaces, including the beautiful Carlton Gardens, an amazing spot for enjoying a picnic or going for a walk with friends. And yes, that's a wedding. Carlton Gardens is a popular spot for wedding ceremonies. Carlton is also a favourite among students and academics, given that it's home to some of Melbourne's most prestigious educational institutions, including the University of Melbourne and RMIT University. So if you're a student of either of these universities, Carlton may be a convenient option for you. You'll be able to not only reduce your commuting times, but also save a significant amount of money on public transport costs, since most unis are walking distance, and if not, you can ride your bike or e-scooter. And of course, if you need to get out of the area and go to the CBD or other parts of Melbourne, Carlton has amazing public transport connections, with multiple tram lines providing easy access to the CBD and other parts of Melbourne. Apart from its closeness to major universities, Carlton is also an amazing neighbourhood for those who appreciate a lively dining scene and eating out, with Acland Street being one of the major draws. Affectionately known as Little Italy, Acland Street is an iconic destination in Carlton, lined with an array of Italian restaurants, cafes, and gelaterias. Another factor that makes Carlton so appealing is that it's a cultural hotspot with several museums, galleries, and theatres. The Melbourne Museum and the Royal Exhibition Building, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, are notable cultural landmarks in the area. And the best part is that the Royal Exhibition Building usually houses some of the best designed food and drinks events in the city. So if you live in the area, you'll have easy access to all these activities. Something that I personally like about Carlton is that it's very diverse, with not only students living here, but also families, young professionals, and retirees. And the area as well has a very nice community feeling, as you have easy access to a wide range of boutique shops, supermarkets, specialty stores, so everything is walking distance without the need to use public transport or even your car to go grocery shopping, which is usually the case when you live in more suburban areas. So what do you think about Carlton? Is this a suburb you'd like to live in? Do you think it's worth the price? If you're a student, will you live here? How do you compare it to the other suburbs I showed you? Let me know in the comments. And I'll give you my personal opinion. I do think that Carlton is a great suburb if you're a student or even a young professional. I actually lived in this area just for a short while whilst I was doing my master's, and to be honest, it was incredibly convenient. But again, having said that, if you don't have the budget to rent an apartment for yourself, then you do have to be prepared to share a house or even a bedroom in this area, because again, price is a major factor when it comes to living in these type of areas so close to the city. Now let's go and check out South Yarra. South Yarra is an upscale and trendy suburb located just a few kilometers southeast of Melbourne CBD. It's actually one of Melbourne's most sought-after neighbourhoods, and known for its sophisticated lifestyle, chic boutiques, and cool atmosphere. South Yarra features a mix of upscale and very modern apartments, Victorian-era terrace houses, and contemporary townhouses, providing a diverse range of housing options to suit different preferences and lifestyles. I personally lived in South Yarra for many years and found that there are many factors that influence why so many people choose this suburb to live. The first reason is its strategic location, as this area provides easy access to the CBD. It's actually very well connected through multiple public transport options, including train and tram services, which makes commuting to the city very easy. And if you want to go to the beach, for example, you're only a 15-minute ride by train, so it's a super convenient location. South Yarra is also situated close to the Yarra River and the Royal Botanic Gardens, which is one of the main reasons as well why so many people love living in this area. You can go for relaxing walks, jogging, running, cycling along the river, or just enjoying a picnic or a barbecue with your friends. The neighboring Faulkner Park also provides green spaces for relaxation and recreational activities. As you can see now, there are many people walking around the park, families playing sports and enjoying a sunny day out. South Yarra is also considered a culinary hotspot. From trendy brunch spots to upscale dining establishments, there is a wealth of dining options to explore. And at night, the suburb comes alive with its trendy bars, wine lounges, and live music venues, offering a lively nightlife experience for residents. Apart from food and entertainment, South Yarra is also considered a fashion mecca, boasting a mix of high-end boutiques, designer stores, and trendy fashion outlets. Chapel Street in particular is renowned for offering some of the best shopping experiences in Melbourne. And speaking of experiences, South Yarra is also known for its health and wellness vibe, offering a wide range of fitness studios, yoga centers, and health-focused establishments throughout the area. Okay, now, but how much does it cost to live in this suburb? Well, the median weekly rent for a house in South Yarra is around 850 Australian dollars, whereas for apartments and units, you can expect to pay around 500 Australian dollars per week. Again though, these prices will vary according to the size of your apartment. So if you decide to live in a one-bedroom apartment, perhaps you may be paying around 400 per week. As always, everything depends. So what do you think of South Yarra? Will you live here? How do you compare it to the suburbs I showed you before? In my personal opinion, if you decide to live in a house in South Yarra, it's definitely going to be on the pricier side. But if you live in a one-bedroom apartment, for example, whether you are just one person or with a partner, I think it's worth paying the price, especially because it's much cheaper than the areas I showed you earlier. And having lived here myself, I can confirm that the quality of living in this suburb is amazing. At least this is my view. Having the Yarra River and Botanic Gardens and the CBD at walking distance and the train next door is priceless. So if you're able to afford this area, you may want to check it out. I think it's a great suburb for young professionals who are looking for a lively suburb close to the city. Okay, now let me show you St Kilda. St Kilda is a dynamic and eclectic beachside suburb located just 5 kilometers southeast of Melbourne CBD. It is a vibrant and culturally diverse neighbourhood with a very lively atmosphere. One of the main reasons why people choose to live in St Kilda is because of its beach lifestyle. From swimming and sunbathing to beach volleyball and water sports, there are plenty of activities to enjoy by the sea. This suburb is also a hub of entertainment, with a multitude of bars, restaurants and live music venues like the iconic Palais Theatre. As you can see, it's a pretty spectacular building, right? Now, apart from the Palais Theatre, something that has given St Kilda a lot of charm is its several historical landmarks, such as the Luna Park, an iconic amusement park with its famous Mr. Moon entrance, and the historic St Kilda pier. And this suburb actually hosts numerous festivals and events throughout the year, including the St Kilda Festival, attracting locals and tourists for days of celebrations and entertainment. As you can see, the day we were filming, there was actually a car show or a car exhibition, and we were thrilled because it was amazing. Although it was a bit packed and it was definitely busier than normal, but it was super fun seeing all those cars and being surrounded by such a lovely atmosphere. And of course, if you're a St Kilda resident, you'll also have the opportunity to enjoy the St Kilda Esplanade Market, an open-air market that showcases an array of local artisans' creations, from arts and crafts to handmade jewelry and fashion. And speaking of arts, something that I love about St Kilda is how eclectic it is, with different art pieces and street art all around you. Like in most suburbs in Melbourne, St Kilda residents have access to a lot of green spaces, including the St Kilda Botanic Gardens and Albert Park nearby, providing opportunities for walks, picnics, or just relaxing. As you can see, we've been riding for a long time, so now we're just chilling here by the beach whilst watching people pass by. Another reason why so many backpackers, students, as well as young professionals choose to make St Kilda their home is because of its excellent public transport connections, with trams and buses providing very easy access to the CBD and surrounding areas. Over the years, St Kilda has become one of the most popular suburbs in Melbourne, and the fact that it's close to the water and the CBD makes it a very appealing option. But unfortunately, this comes with a price. The median weekly rent in St Kilda for a house is $800 or even more, whereas for an apartment or unit, you can expect to pay around $440 per week. I personally love St Kilda, and I think it's an amazing place if you're a young professional or a backpacker and someone who loves being by the water and close to the city. Now, the only drawback, of course, it's the price. It's not super accessible, but you can definitely find share accommodation and lower your costs. Another thing that you need to take into account is that if you're not a party person and you don't like the noise at night, perhaps St Kilda might not be for you. Having said that though, as you can see, we are riding along these beautiful streets in a more residential area within St Kilda, and this is much more quieter. But again, it's very likely that you're going to have to pay for a premium if you want to live in these areas. Another alternative is to check out surrounding suburbs, perhaps a bit further from the city, such as Elwood or even Sandringham, but it all depends on your needs, of course. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about this suburb? Will you live here? Do you think it's worth the price? So what do you think? Will you live in these areas? Something that I want to note, though, is that most of these suburbs are mainly suited to young professionals and students. And of course, these areas are closer to the city, public transport, major universities, and a range of entertainment options. But if you're a family or someone who's on a budget, perhaps these suburbs may not be worth the price, and there are definitely much cheaper alternatives. For example, if you go to the north of Melbourne, you may find pretty cool areas such as Northcote, Preston or Brunswick. And if you go to the west, you may like areas such as Footscray, which are super multicultural, or you could even go to the eastern suburbs, to areas such as Box Hill, which are also great for students, and it has amazing public transport connections. Usually living in these neighborhoods as well tends to be a bit cheaper and much quieter than the suburbs that we explored in this video. So if you're open to living a bit further from all the hustle and bustle of the city, I definitely recommend exploring these alternatives. And if you'd like me to make more videos like this, exploring other suburbs in Australia, leave a comment below. Also, thank you, Mirth, for sending these amazing e-scooters. They've been of great help in filming this video all around the city. The Mirth City is definitely a winner and of course amazing for city riding. The Mirth S performance was great as well, but the Mirth City is definitely much more powerful, especially the battery lasting much longer. And remember that if you want to take these e-scooters out, there is a link down below, and if you use that link, you'll get 10% off as well. So thank you, Mirth, and thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to keep supporting the channel so I can keep bringing more content for you. And I'll see you next time.